Hello, St. John's, and greetings from the Ateek home once again. The other day I had an interesting experience. I was going into the grocery store and I realized just as I was getting out of the car that I didn't have my mask with me. The only thing I had in the car was this scarf that Tannery wears, and I don't know if you recognize the pattern, but I put this thing on and this is essentially what I looked like. Now, the reason that I share this lighthearted story with you is to draw our attention to something that we've all felt recently, and that is the heightened sense of fear and alertness in our communities. I mean, nobody wants to contract COVID-19. And so we walk around in our stores or places that we go with masks on, and we are extremely cautious of others whom we come in contact with. I recently reread a book by Adam Hamilton. It's this book right here. It's called Unafraid, Living with Courage and Hope in Uncertain Times. And interestingly, it's the title itself that drew me back to the book. It sounds like it was written for us and for our time, finding courage and hope in uncertain times. Even though in actuality, Hamilton wrote this book a couple of years prior to COVID-19. And in the book, he talks about the anatomy of fear. He talks about the different types of fears that we experience, addressing each one of them in a very readable way. So I recommend the book to you. And one thing in particular that stood out to me is Hamilton's discussion of living with fear, acknowledging that fear is all around us and it's something that we can't really get rid of, but living unafraid. So living with fear, yet unafraid, which he describes as choosing not to be consumed or controlled by our fear. And I really like this idea because if you're anything like me, then you know what it feels like to have fear rob you and deprive you of the gift of being fully present here and now. So the question is, how do we live unafraid? Hamilton in his book has some practical suggestions and tools. For me, I want to share with you my most successful way of shedding fear, and that is gratitude. And what's so amazing about gratitude from a neuroscience standpoint is that gratitude and fear can't coexist simultaneously in the brain. So when gratitude is exercised, it actually shuts off the parts of our brain where fear is being experienced. And likewise, when we are feeling really afraid, it's hard to feel gratitude and to be open in that way. So it's been 42 days since churches in the Diocese of Washington closed their doors. And in my world, that's how long it's been since the whole self-quarantine thing started. And I've been thinking about that this week and thinking about gratitude. And so I've decided to invite you to do something with me. And that is to make a list of 42 things for which you are grateful. I have my list right here in my journal. And I find it really wonderful to sit down and just bullet point the different gifts that I feel are in my life. I want you to know that you are on that list, St. John's, and I want to thank you for that. So if it's helpful to you today to think about gratitude in your own life, I offer that to you, and I trust with all the confidence that you will find a blessing in that. Much love, St. John's. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday at 10 a.m. for our worship service. Blessings.